So we're just maybe about a week away from spring practice. So as you look at this football team, what piques your interest in regards to whether those are certain positional units, certain players, storylines that you're looking at?
Yeah, Mark, I think, right off the bat, spring practice is on Monday. So we're right around the corner from things happening very quickly for the Miami Hurricanes. And I think the one word that I'm probably going to say a lot throughout this show is going to be competition. And I think that's something that the Miami Hurricanes have not had in a very long time. When you look back to our program, when we were at the top, it wasn't who we played against. It was who we were up against in practice every single day. And I think for the Miami Hurricanes to get back where they need to be, it has to start on Greentree. And in order to do that, you have to create legit competition, not just have guys, with their last name on the back and just fillers. I want to see depth get slowly created like we did in the old days, going straight to the running back position, right? We have 5 blue chip recruits coming in for this 2021 roster for the Miami Hurricanes, just in the running back position alone. And I know some people, they were a little afraid or timid about a newcomer in Thad Franklin, what his thoughts may be with the addition of Cody Brown, who originally was committed to Tennessee, who is from the Georgia area. And now you look at this running back depth with the situation that happened last year. You have one senior in Cam Harris, and all the other running backs on this roster are still freshmen. That includes a Jalen Knighton and a Don Chaney, who got a pretty good reps last year, and you saw some great things from both of them, especially Don Chaney. So, I mean, we're starting to create that depth, from back in the day where you had the Clinton Portises, the Willis McGahees, Frank Gore, Quadram Hill, Jared Payton, Najee Diamondport. I mean, if you want Miami to get back, you have to create those depths, and a wide receiver is another position, right? You look at this roster, and I think what's very unique about this team this year is we have a lot of guys that came back this year. 91% of our returning production is coming back for this football team this season. And that's huge for Miami because that's something that we're not really used to. And I think when you look at this football team, most of the players on this team are not really star players. They haven't been proven yet. There's a lot of guys who are in their 3rd or 4th year who still have to prove themselves in order to get drafted where they want. And then you have a lot of young guys, whether it be incoming freshmen or guys who barely played last year as a freshman, that want to step up and be that next guy. I mean, I think one name to look for, especially on offense, Mark, is going to be Keyshawn Smith out of California.
Yeah, you started with the running back position, and it's loaded. It was impressive, as you mentioned, with Cam Harris, of course, leading the way, but with Knighton and especially Chaney getting their carries and showing flashes. So do you think you have a good feel for what each one can do well and how they should be used in the distribution of carries?
Yes, I think what Lashley wants to do is he wants to be very diverse. I think what you're seeing is now when you have other guys behind those two, you're not really having to solely rely on 1 or 2 guys from this past season. I think with not having a full offseason, it was very tough for our 2 incoming freshmen in Chaney and Knighton to kind of get into that solid, comfortable role, just because, especially in pass protection, I'm sure either the coaching staff or just them in general weren't too comfortable yet. You saw a lot of opportunities where you think Knighton should have been in, especially in passing downs, and it seemed like Chaney and Cam Harris still took that role over. And I think now with a full offseason, Jalen Knighton fully recovered as well, who's battling a little bit of nagging injuries throughout the season, you're going to see a lot of diversity. And we didn't even mention, Thad Franklin and potentially Cody Brown, who could end up, playing too. That's a young man who Miami was very hard on his radar last year. That was a running back that we wanted from last class. So it's nice to add him as well. And he, like I mentioned, he's originally from Georgia. So we're creating that Georgia pipeline between Coach Jess Simpson, him, and then you have 2 recruits that we're going after right now, and Ja'Cory Brown out of Georgia and Isaiah Bond out of Georgia. So I think what you're seeing is we're starting to create what we kind of did in Jacksonville, the Duval area when we had Coach Hartley. We're starting to do that in Georgia. And it's going to be very interesting with some of the other coaches we added that we could potentially do that not only in Georgia, but the state of Texas and California could start to become more of a stomping ground for Miami.